All right, here's today's story, our fracture fairy tale, The Princess and the Pizza. It's written by Mary Jane and Herm Ock. It's a version of the Princess and the Pea story that I know you've all heard, so I hope you enjoy it. It's definitely one of my favorites. Princess Paulina needed a job. Her father had given up his throne to become a wood carver and moved him to a humble little shack in a neighboring kingdom. Since the king was still learning, his carvings didn't sell, and Paulina's garden barely kept them alive. Paulina missed princessing. She walked through the garden and missed her peacock. She missed the kingdom and the castle and the royal processions where she waved to everyone along her route. You could see her up in the window. Paulina tried walking a stray chicken around her shack, but it only pecked at her bare toes. She tried princess waving to the townspeople from her father's cart, but nobody bothered to wave back. They just thought she was swatting at flies. So you can see she's still trying to be a princess even though she's not. One day, a page who worked for the king rode past the shack, announcing that Queen Zelda of Blom was seeking a true princess to become the bride of her son, Prince Rupert. "This is my chance to get back to princessing," said Paulina. She rummaged through her trunk to find her ex-princess stuff, brushed the wood shavings from her best ball gown, and blew away the bits of sawdust that clung to her diamond tiara. Tiara is what you wear on your head like a crown. She tucked a piece of garlic into her dress for good luck, snipped some fragrant herbs to cover up the garlic smell, and headed for the castle. Paulina didn't expect there would be much competition. There wasn't another princess for hundreds of miles. But when she got to Blom Castle, Paulina found she was only one of 12 princesses hoping to become the royal bride. Uh-oh. She's got a lot of competition now. When she looked at her assigned room, Paulina saw her bed piled with 16 mattresses. Oh, for Pete's sake! The old Princess in the Pea trick. That's so once upon a time. Naturally, Paulina didn't sleep all night because she felt the lumpy pea through all the mattresses. So they put a pea at the very bottom so she could not sleep well at night. She knew that trick. When the 12 princesses gathered in the throne room the next morning, the 7 who looked bright-eyed and wide awake were sent home. Now only Paulina and 4 other sleepy princesses remained. First, they were made to write essays entitled, "Why I Want to Have the Gracious and Exquisitely Beautiful Queen Zelda for My Mother-in-Law." Look, there's the mother-in-law, Prince Rupert's mother. Prince Rupert and Queen Zelda finally appeared in the balcony. Queen Zelda did all the talking. "Congratulations, ladies. You have written some lovely essays which I will keep in my scrapbook, and you have all passed the mattress test. But to make absolutely sure you are of royal blood, there is a second test. Only a true princess can wear these glass slippers." Who's that remind you of? "For Pete's sake, you never heard of sneakers?" Paulina asked. Queen Zelda gave Paulina a sharp look. "Nobody said you had to hike in them. Just try them on." So there they are with the glass slipper. After the royal page made his way around the room with the slippers, 2 big-footed princesses were sent home. Now only Paulina and another princess remained. One was followed around by 7 strange little men. I think that was Snow White. And the other had such a long braid dragging behind her. I think that was Rapunzel. Paulina kept tripping over it. "For Pete's sake, you never heard of scissors?" Paulina cried. Queen Zelda glared at Paulina. "You have all passed the second princess test. Your final task is to cook a feast that proves you worthy of being my dear Rupert's wife." So now they have to go to the kitchen and cook. This set up a cry among the princesses, especially Paulina. "For Pete's sake, you have no royal chef?" "Silence," said the queen. "The table holds the makings for 3 fine feasts. Choose well, for the winner will become my dear Rupert's bride." As Paulina started for the table, and there you can see the table, the long-haired princess tripped her and then loaded up with food. By the time Paulina got there, the 7 strange little men had run off with everything but some flour, yeast, water, and 3 old tomatoes and a hunk of stale cheese. Hey, that's not fair, Queen Zelda. You will have to help me. No, said the queen, because you have a big mouth. A servant escorted Paulina to her room and locked the door. Hey, how can I cook without a bowl or spoons or pots? There was no reply. Paulina tried to make bread, kneading the flour, water, and yeast together, but only stuck to the tray in a flattened mess. She squished the tomatoes over the dough to brighten it up. It looked awful. She sprinkled cheese gratings over the top. It was still a mess, and Paulina was exhausted. Oh, for Pete's sake, where is your fairy godmother when you need her? I'm going to just take a nap. She reached under the pile of mattresses, pulled out the pea, and climbed into bed. So there she goes back to sleep. But look at this mess she made. Does it remind you of something? She hadn't been sleeping long when there was a knock on the door. Only 20 minutes left, called Queen Zelda. I don't smell anything cooking. I'm not cooking, said Paulina. I'm napping and going home. Now, if you want to stop the story here, think, pause, share, talk to your grown-up, talk to a brother or sister, and tell them what you predict is going to happen next. So she's got this mess of raw food, and she has no time to make anything else. So see what you think is going to happen. You're not going anywhere, said the queen. The losers will be beheaded. Paulina sat bolt upright. Beheaded? You didn't tell us that. I forgot, said the queen. Can't I have a second chance? How about I spin some straw into gold? Or maybe I could guess a weird little man's name. No second chances, replied the queen. But that's not fair, Paulina said. Who needs to be fair? I'm the queen. Paulina leaped out of bed and ran to the window, but it was an unbelievably long drop to the ground. The meal was her only hope. She rushed the tray over to the fireplace, stirred the few remaining hot coals, and then crushed her garlic and sprinkled it over the top for good luck. Finally, Paulina tossed on the herbs to cover up the garlic smell. I think it's a good thing she brought those things with her. Paulina paced back and forth, planning her escape. Perhaps she could make a deal with that long-haired princess to climb down her braid. She didn't notice that the goopy dough had browned into a crust, and the tomatoes were bubbling, the cheese had melted, and the fragrance of herbs and garlic filled the room. The page opened the door. Time's up. Paulina took a deep breath and carried her tray into the great dining room. It's pretty good, if you ask me. The other princesses had made lovely feasts, especially the one with the 7 strange little men to help her. Prince Rupert went right to Paulina's tray. It's not pretty, but it smells scrumptious. That means delicious. He helped himself to an unusually generous piece. What do you call this dish? Paulina shrugged. I don't know. It can't be an official entry in the contest if it doesn't have a name, said the queen. Oh, for Pete's sake, Paulina muttered. What's that? Snapped the queen. Pete's what? Remembering the beheading threat, Paulina frantically tried to think of a name. It's pizza. Pizza, said the queen. Odd name, but it's tasty. The winner is Princess Paulina. You mean I won't be beheaded? I was only kidding about the beheading, said the queen. Then I was only kidding about wanting to marry Prince Rupert. Who needs him, said Paulina. I have other plans. Will you leave your recipe, asked the queen. No way, said Paulina. It's just become a family secret. She headed for the door. I liked you the best, whined the queen, following close behind. Oh, for Pete's sake, muttered Paulina as she stomped across the drawbridge. Princess Paulina's Pizza Palace opened a few days later. It featured unusual carved furniture and 50 kinds of pizza. Every Thursday on the Royal Chef's Night Off, Queen Zelda and Prince Rupert came to Paulina's for popcorn pineapple pizza. They often stayed to play cards with Paulina's father. From then on, whenever Paulina drove her pizza delivery cart through town, doing the princess wave, everyone waved back and ran after her, asking about the daily specials. Life was good. Paulina was grateful not to have Queen Zelda for a mother-in-law, but she's still worried about one little thing. She worried about getting Queen Zelda as her stepmother. All right, friends, so I hope you liked that. That was a great story. What I'd like for you to do now is get out a piece of paper, and I want you to write a summary of what happened. So write down what happened in the story, and at the very end I want you to tell me if you liked this version better or if you liked the original Princess and the Pea better. Alright friends, I hope you enjoyed that story about the princess and the pizza. It's one of my favorite fractured fairy tales, and I love at the end how she makes her own pizza shop. So your task for today is to work on a procedural writing piece. That means you're going to tell us how to do something. So we were thinking it would be fun if you told us how you would make a pizza. And I want you to write out the steps. And you can see on my paper I showed you, I wrote a 1 and then I wrote make dough. That's the first thing I would do. Number 2, tell me what you would do second. Tell me what you would do third, fourth, and fifth. Don't forget to tell me what kind of toppings you like on it. Maybe you want to make it a special shape. Maybe you want to share it with someone. Write about whatever you want with your pizza. After you're done, take a picture of it, and you can send it through Dojo or on the phone to Mrs. Frere, Mrs. Bowman, or myself. All right, so once again, I'm just going to review. I want you to tell us how you would make a pizza. Write the steps, and then draw a picture, and you can send it to us. So I hope you had a great day. I hope you loved our story, and I'll see you later.